The book of Psalms, book 4, Psalms 90 to 106. We're on the last chapter. We're on Psalm 106. Quickly, I want to talk about, I got a little bit bent out of shape reading chapter 105 because, well, all it said was, he smote also all the firstborn in their land, the chief of all their strength. So this is firstborn, right? Not newborn, firstborn. And well, even that word, that leads you to start thinking about things. So this actually happened 3 times. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because today is Christmas, the day supposedly celebrating Christ's birth. But let's talk about, just for a minute, the 3 times in the Bible that it talks about people genociding young males, either firstborn or newborn. So let's do just a quick recap of when these things occurred. Because yesterday, well, I knew, okay, I read that. I knew they were talking about Egypt, right? But then I started thinking, wait a minute, it already happened before. This is God doing this to the Egyptians, but it had already happened. This is why it's a similar judgment. And furthermore, it just exposes this is just genocide. And like in the before, this is how to do it, how to destroy populations. You have to get rid of the males. Now you have soy boys sitting behind computers doing war. It's not like that before. You have to get rid of the males. And so yesterday we're reminded he smote also all the firstborn in their land, the chief of all their strength. And they're talking about the plagues, right? But what happened before that? This. The first time. And it was newborn males was to be killed. This is firstborn. And it's actually, I don't think it's even males. It's everybody that was born first. And I think it's animals. I think it's everybody. Just so it's like clear. And that's a strange, I have to think about that some more, the implications of that. But this is not newborn. What God did in Egypt, he killed the firstborn. Okay, but the very first time this genocidal behavior occurred was during the story of Moses, when Pharaoh, and it may be Tutmos the first, who knows, he ordered all newborn, not firstborn, killed because he felt their numbers were strong and he would be overthrown by the Hebrews, right? And then when they're talking about Egypt, this is the second time this genocide has happened, right? And during that first time, that was when Passover, when they were taught Passover and how to stay safe, right? By taking the blood of the lamb and eating the lamb quickly and turning off the lights and eating it in haste quickly and putting the blood of the lamb on your door before you eat, and no leftovers. You have to throw away whatever you didn't eat. You have to be dressed, ready, to leave. That time, there's 3 times. It gets kind of confusing, so I just wanted to straighten it out. If I'm confused, I'm not the only one. So then we have, this is number 2, right? And then number 3 is Herod. And that is when he felt he was tricked by the wise men, and he ordered all males 2 years old and under to be killed, right? So the very first time it was newborns, newborn male, which was Moses' time. And that was Tutmos the first. The second time is Ramses. And this is when God killed all the firstborn. I think it's probably male and female. And animals. And then the last time that was attempted genocide was with Christ. And that was under Herod. And all males 2 years old and under. So the targets are actually different all 3 times, but it's a genocide that occurred 3 times. Let's get through this. This is a long chapter. Psalm 106. Praise ye the Lord. O give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, for his mercy endureth forever. Who can utter the mighty acts of the Lord? Who can shew forth all his praise? Blessed are they that keep judgment, and he that doeth righteousness at all times. Remember me, O Lord, with the favor that thou bearest unto thy people. O visit me with thy salvation, that I may see the good of thy chosen, that I may rejoice in the gladness of thy nation, that I may glory with thine inheritance. We have sinned with our fathers, we have committed iniquity, we have done wickedly. Our fathers understood not thy wonders in Egypt. They remembered not the multitude of thy mercies, but provoked him at the sea, even at the Red Sea. Nevertheless, he saved them for his name's sake, that he might make his mighty power to be known. He rebuked the Red Sea also, and it was dried up. So he led them through the depths, as through the wilderness. And he saved them from the hand of him that hated them. Now we just talked about who that was, right? We think that's Ramses. He's the one with all those big statues everywhere. It's like, well, you could make, when did you do that? Before or after you didn't get over to the sea, right? I mean, how many, maybe they only had artists left after all the war men got killed in their chariots, got drowned. So he's like, oh, well, F it. I'm just going to make some big statues. Like, what else is he going to do? You have no army left. I don't know. I don't know how many people they had. And he saved them from the hand of him that hated them, and redeemed them from the hand of the enemy. And the waters covered their enemies. There was not one of them left. Oh. See? Only the artists are up on the ground. Oh, wow. They believed his words. They sang his praise. They soon forgot his works. They waited not for his counsel. But lusted exceedingly in the wilderness, and tempted God in the desert. And he gave them their request, but sent leanness into their soul. They envied Moses also in the camp, and Aaron, the saint of the Lord. I don't know how saintly he was building that calf, but Moses, his brothers up on the mountain, they just didn't even want to wait, right? But yeah, you can tell God's not writing this. These are some types of musicians or somebody writing this. I'm starting to think Babylon is so deep, and it's so deep, so deep, so deep. Like, I don't know. I don't know if they're their Torah is just the first part of this, what I'm reading, or if it's some kind of Babylonian Torah. I'm not sure. I need to find out. Like, is that the Talmud? Is that the, I don't even know. I can only handle this, you know. I can't even figure out the Jewish calendar. Okay, I'll get on it. One day I'm gonna come on here and it's gonna be on. Yeah, because I looked it up. And figured it out. Okay. So they're talking about everybody's being jealous of Moses and Aaron, right? Which is not okay. The earth opened and swallowed up Dathan and covered the company of Abiram. We gotta look those two up. I have no idea who those two are. They're in trouble because the earth swallowed them up. They did something wrong. And I like this. So it's like there's so many names in here you can't even remember anything, but that's good. Why would anybody want to remember something like that? It's pretty bad. But there's got to be a reason. We'll find out. And a fire was kindled in their company. The flame burned up the wicked. They made a calf in Horeb and worshipped the molten image. Oh, you're talking about Aaron? Oh, you know who these are? These are Aaron's sons. Yep. It has to be. Remember? They were like, yeah. And they put something there they should not have. They wanted some time they should not have. They had no permission to be there. But they did something messed up, whatever it was. And they got, boom, instantly killed by the fire. Here. And a fire was kindled in their company. The flame burned up the wicked. It has to be them. They made a calf in Horeb and worshipped the molten image. But why are they blaming Aaron's sons? Were they there? They were part of that. They didn't mention them. They only mentioned them after he started his job as the priest. And the sons came in and did something they were not supposed to do, and they burnt up. They made a calf in Horeb and worshipped the molten image. I thought, well, is that Mount Sinai? Right? Because that's where he was, right? Horeb. We'll find that out. Thus they changed their glory into the similitude of an ox that eateth grass. Yup. They forgot God, their Savior, which had done great things in Egypt, wondrous works in the land of Ham. Here we go again. That has to be studied because it got brought up last chapter, verse 27. They shewed his signs among them and wonders in the land of Ham. But they're talking about Egypt. They're talking about Mizraim, Ham's son. Maybe Ham was over there establishing it for, I don't know. He's supposed to be in Canaan. He's associated with Canaan. What is he over there for? I would like to know. It's no big deal, but yeah, I'm going to have to figure that out. Wondrous works in the land of Ham, and terrible things by the Red Sea. Therefore he said that he would destroy them, had not Moses his chosen stood before him in the breach, to turn away his wrath, lest he should destroy them. Well, you know what, to be honest with you, Moses, like I feel, and people are like, no, he couldn't go to Canaan because he hit that rock and he no. It was because he killed that Egyptian slave driver. But you know what else? Moses is like, no, I'm not going to do this job. I stutter. I am not going to be the speaker of the house. I'm not going to do this. And he's like, you know what? You are going to do this, but here's some help, Aaron. Well, you know what? He's the one that sent Aaron. God, he's the one that told. It's like, yeah, Aaron, he'll help. He'll help. What? Help what? Build a golden calf? Help what? Have his sons defile the temple, the place of God in the tent, and that's why God sent Aaron. So you can't really blame Moses for all this stuff. Therefore he said that he would destroy them, had not Moses, his chosen, yea, better be his chosen, because Aaron, we know, stood before him in the breach. Thank God. Yeah. And he can't go to Canaan? Right. I don't think he should be blamed at this rate for not being able to go to Canaan. Look, he just stood in the breach of life and death of the whole world. Like, he's up there, what? How many days is he up there doing that commandment thing? Like 40 days? And they just can't play Scrabble. They just have to build another calf. So yeah, leave Moses alone. I don't know. I think God just wanted him to hang out because really he should have been able to go over there. Except the story would have been different. So it's the way it is, but I think he should not be blamed at such a rate. I think he did a good thing by getting rid of that guy. That was, because he was probably killing people left and right, that slave driver. And if you were old, he probably just threw you in a pit. So I don't blame him for all that anyway. Too much. Yea, they despised the pleasant land. They believed not his word, but murmured in their tents, and hearkened not unto the voice of the Lord. Therefore he lifted up his hand against them to overthrow them in the wilderness, to overthrow their seed also among the nations, and to scatter them in the lands. They joined themselves also unto Baal Peor, and ate the sacrifices of the dead. Oh, unto Baal Peor. I don't know what they're talking about, but it sounds like they probably went through somebody's army and they were told, do not touch anything, do not eat any spoils, do not bring anything with you. And they did. Thus, they provoked him to anger with their inventions, and the plague brake in upon them. Then stood up Phinehas and executed judgment, and so the plague was stayed. See, I even forgot about that whole story. I'll put it in the description. I'll have to remind. These are really full. These last two, 105 and 106, are full of historical information. They have to be further analyzed because right? I like this better than like Job. Crying and moaning for 53 chapters nearly until God just like, hey, enough. It's like, whoosh, come on. This, at least we can figure things out. I like this better. And that was counted unto him for righteousness unto all generations forevermore. They angered him also at the waters of strife, so that it went ill with Moses for their sakes, because they provoked his spirit, so that he spake unadvisedly with his lips. That must be the water breaking, the waters of strife. They angered him. That's the rock he hit. The people are blaming him he couldn't go to Canaan for. They angered him also at the waters of strife, so that it went ill with Moses for their sakes, because they provoked his spirit, so that he spake unadvisedly with his lips. So they provoked him. They did not destroy the nations concerning whom the Lord commanded them, but were mingled among the heathen and learned their works. And they served their idols, which were a snare unto them. Yea, they sacrificed their sons and daughters unto devils, and shed innocent blood, even the blood of their sons and of their daughters, whom they sacrificed unto the idols of Canaan. And the land was polluted with blood. Thus were they defiled with their own works, and went a-whoring with their own inventions. Therefore was the wrath of the Lord kindled against his people, in so much that he abhorred his own inheritance. And he gave them into the land, into the hand of the heathen. Yes, he did. He sent their ass on over to Babylon for 7 years. Because, why? And guess what happened? The land had Sabbath for 70 years. The land rested. They did not follow the commands to let the land rest every 7 years. Leave it alone. Don't plow it. Let it rest. They didn't. They continuously harassed the land all day, all night. Never let it rest. Year after year. They didn't follow the commandment. So guess what? It's going to rest. The land's going to keep the Sabbath one way or the other. If you don't keep it, you're going to have to go. The land will keep the Sabbath. Isn't that awesome? And he gave them into the hand of the heathen, and they that hated them ruled over them, i.e. Nebuchadnezzar. Their enemies also oppressed them, and they were brought into subjection under their hand. Maybe he's just talking about Egypt here. Let's see. So that's why I have to remind myself that those 3 things happen, those 3 genocidal incidences. Genetics, right? Now there's just soy sitting behind computers doing this. And then it's hand-to-hand combat. You have to deal with the males, the genetics, the male. And then they don't care about the women. They're just going to infiltrate the women and make them genetically what they are. All they care about is getting rid of the male. So this has happened, and it's all due to the seed of Satan. But here we have, Egypt first. Babylon second, 70 years. I think maybe they're just talking about Egypt. And he gave them into the hand of the heathen, and they that hated them ruled over them. Their enemies also oppressed them, and they were brought into subjugation under their hand. Many times did he deliver them, but he provoked him with their counsel, and were brought low for their iniquity. Nevertheless, he regarded their affliction when he heard their cry. And he remembered for them his covenant, and repented according to the multitude of his mercies. He made them also to be pitied of all those that carried them captives. I don't know. That guard beating that is Israelite Hebrew. That's not all. So this is subjective, this whole thing. It's okay kind of when it says who wrote it. Like it's David, like the first book of Psalms was all David. It starts going, these are the musicians writing it. For the sons of Korah, for the sons Mashili. But these have no author, no direction. These are kind of artistic license, I feel. Okay, we're almost done. Because look, that's not true. He made them all so to be pitied of all those that carried them captive. All, no, that's not true. Save us, O Lord our God, and gather us from among the heathen to give thanks unto thy holy name, and to triumph in thy praise. Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, for everlasting to everlasting. And let all the people say, Amen. Praise ye the Lord.